Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Apothecary and welcome back to my channel.
Today I'm going to do something a little bit different and I'm going to go through my top 16 of 2023 by the numbers. I'm going to give you all some stats about what my top 16 books all entailed from last year. So just as a quick review, these are the books that ended up in my top 16 reads of 2023, not counting rereads, not counting books that were obviously under 3-star ratings, not counting ARCs or beta reads, just straight up top 16 of 2023. If you missed my Battle of the Books video series, go and check that out on my channel. It was a lot of fun, but this is just talking about my top 16. So we've already got the top 8, the top 4, the top 2. We've got the winner. That all happened in previous weeks. Now I'm just talking about the top 16 books of 2023. Those were Labyrinth's Heart by M.A. Carrick, The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan, A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Doolin, The Bleeding Stone by Joseph John Lee, Legacy of the Brightwash by Crystal Matar, A Storm of Swords by George R. R. Martin, Lullaby by Daniel Barnett, Wistful Ascending by J.C.M. Byrne, Nightfall by Daniel Barnett, The Two-Faced Queen by Nick Martell, Buzzard's Bowl by John Palladino, Lily by Daniel Barnett, Grave Peril by Jim Butcher, Phased by Victoria Tekken, and The Hexologist by Josiah Bancroft. Now, you guys know that I am a big fan of self-pub books, indie published books, and this top 16 really shows that because 9 out of 16 were self-pub books, self-published by the author, and I just love that stat. Maybe next year we can get it even higher than that. Now, let's talk about series. You guys know that I call myself a serial series starter. I love starting series and getting that magic of the first book, learning all about the characters and their world, and there's just so much magic in a first book in a series for me. But I have been working on trying to catch up on series, finish series, at least make progress in series. So this next set of stats all deals with the series that these books fall in. So as expected, 8 out of these 16 books were first in series. And to be fair, some of these, I don't have the stat for it, but some of these 8 that were the first in this series, at the time of reading them, they only had 1 book in the series. So technically I was a first in a series, but I was also caught up. We'll come back to that. 3 out of the 16 were either second or third book in the series, so I had made progress in some series. 2 books were either a 4th in the series or a 7th in the series. 1 out of these 16 finished a series completely for me, and I was so sad to see that series end. And 2 out of 16 helped me catch up to where our authors have released series so far. So I read a lot of first books in the series that were in my top 16, but I also got caught up on some, so that is fantastic. And I know some of these came in the middle of series that I then went on to finish later in the year that just didn't make it into the top 16. So I did make a lot of progress on series last year. Let's talk about genres. Now, I've become a recent fan of the fantasy genre, and to be fair, most of these technically fall under the fantasy genre. However, I kind of broke them up into little mini subgenres to give us some more spice and variety. 5, I would say, are kind of just your straight up fantasy. Epic fantasy, fantasy is the first thing that comes to your mind when you read these books. 3 of them were horror books, not fantasy at all, just horror. And then we have a series of 2s. 2 books I qualified as historical fantasy, which has become one of my favorite subgenres. 2 I qualify as dark fantasy, but also borderline grimdark fantasy, which is our other 2. And 1 was science fiction, and 1 I qualify as supernatural, which technically can fall under fantasy or science fiction, but I felt like it deserved its own little category. So let's talk about my ratings. As Ellen at the Library of Alexandria calls it, I am a 5-star strumpet, and not surprising since these are my top 16 books. 13 out of the 16 were 5 out of 5-star ratings. 2 out of the 16 were 4.5 out of 5-star ratings. Not a single one of these 16 fell below 4.5 stars. So y'all, your names are mentioned in this video. Pat yourself on the back because y'all wrote some amazing books. Speaking of authors, 1 was an author duo. It was 2 people writing as 1. 3 were female writers, and that leaves 12 male writers. So girls, y'all out there, we're gonna need to bump that stat up for next year. Not surprising, the stats for the dates that these books were released mostly fell in the last 3 years. 6 were published in 2022. That is the most on my top 16. Followed by 4 that were published in 2023, so last year, the year of reading it, which is fantastic for me because I'm usually the one that is catching up to books. 3 were published in 2020, 1 was published in 2021, and 3 were published before 2020, so like pre-pandemic books. I like big books and I cannot lie. Let's talk about the page counts in these books. Now these page counts I took mostly from the actual editions that I was reading, but also compared to Goodreads to make sure I had the right amount. So 6 of these were big boys. They were 600 plus pages. 1 of them was over 1,000 pages, which happened to be the favorite book of 2023. Complete coincidence. 4 of these were between 401 and 500 pages. 3 were between 301 and 400 pages, and 2 were between 100 and 200 pages. So y'all, I like big books. I can't help it. 10 of these were read digitally, which does help a big amount with the page counts because those big books are hard to hold and they make my hands tired, but I love them. 5 of these were immersion reads, which is my new favorite way of reading, where I have either the digital copy or a physical copy in front of me while the audiobook is reading it to me at the same time and I'm following along. I love to do an immersion read. And some of these were just absolutely perfect. It felt like the writer wrote it just for an immersion read. And 1 was just straight up audio. The audiobooks are just so well for that series, so good for that series that, you know, I can just listen to the audiobook and not miss anything. Now, the last stat I have for you in this video is the months that I started reading these books. Some I had finished in that same month and some carried over to other months. So these are the months that I started reading these books, and the most popular month was April, with 4 books started that month, which is amazing because that's my birthday month, so I was reading lots for my birthday. 3 were started in October, 2 were started in both June and July, and 1 book was started each in March, May, August, September, and November. So these 16 books were spread out throughout all of 2023, basically. We missed December and we missed, January and February at the beginning, but other than that, it was spread out throughout the whole year of 2023, and I love to see that. So these are all the stats that I thought of that might be interesting to y'all. This is my first time doing a video like this with my top 16 books. So let me know in the comments below, what other stats are you looking for in my top 16 books of 2023. I'll add them to the list when I do next year's video, but I'll also add a reply to your comment, letting you know about that particular stat. And before I close out this video, I want to give one last shout out to all the authors here in this video. You guys are amazing. I can't wait to read more books by y'all, and keep on writing because your books rock my world. To all of you out there watching, Keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.